Okay. There's been some things that I wanted to go over that have to do with personal combat kind of things. There's a lot of videos on YouTube and a lot of information available on knife fighting. My instructor was Ryun, so the way that he kind of taught us was a little bit more purposeful. It's like there's not a lot of dueling. It's more like 1, 2, and over. So I'm going to kind of go over just 1, 2, 3, brief things. I don't necessarily want to give a whole bunch of that on YouTube too much, but there's some things that I want you guys to be aware of that you should look for. I believe that you should look for when you're looking for that kind of information to learn. Okay, so when it comes to knife fighting, statistically, bladed weapons are more feared than guns. Okay, you can look it up yourself, right? I'm not going to go into statistics, but typically people fear knives or things that have an edge on them a lot more than they fear a gun. Okay, so having that in mind, if you could zoom in on this. Okay, this is a fighting knife. Okay, you can use a butcher knife or something like that. If somebody's breaking into your house, you can use those any kind of edge weapons. They're going to get the job done just as well. Okay, but this type of knife is very thick. It's not going to move. It's not going to bend at all. It has a razor edge on it. There are many schools of thought on fighting with a knife. First of all, if you see any information online that has you moving from this position to this position a lot, then you probably want to shy away from that, that kind of teaching, because anytime you're doing like that, you're losing control of the blade. Okay, and that's not really beneficial. Okay, so if you're a European type fighter and you're fighting with the blade out like this, that's your style of fighting, great. Go for that kind of deal. I prefer, and I was taught this way, to fight with a weapon along the side so that I can hide it and move in, strike and kill. Okay, so since I'm not going to hurt Sam, I'm not going to use this weapon, but if you're looking for a weapon to fight with, this is the type of weapon that you want. One that does not bend, right? It does not bend, and it's very thick. I don't know if you guys can see that. Can you zoom in on this? All right, just move forward. All right, you can see how thick this blade is. Okay, this is a very good quality knife. It's made in the USA. This is actually a Spectre knife. I'm not even sure that the gentleman makes these knives anymore, but if you find something that's like that, I guarantee you this steel is 1/4 inch thick, and it's pitched down at a combat edge. So those of you that are familiar with blades, if you take sword and you know what a combat edge is, that's what this knife is. So you can really do a lot of damage with this type of knife. But for today, I'm going to use good old Mr. Cold Steel training knife. Okay, please stand up. Okay, this gentleman, everybody say hi to Sam. All right, in a situation, I feel like my life is threatened and I have a use for a knife, right? And generally, I always carry a knife with me, even if it's just a pocket knife. I mean, I'm from Texas, in Texas we carry guns, we carry knives. That's just the way you're brought up. Those of you that are not from Texas, you guys can get here as soon as you possibly can. But for the rest of us that are here, we always have some sort of knife. I mean, we work with them, we cut with them, whatever. It's something that looks like this. If you're carrying this, well, you're Jim Bowie, okay? But you can do the same thing with a lock blade. If you just hold this 1 second, I'll show you what I mean. This is typically the kind of knife that I carry, okay? A utility knife, that's it, okay? It's got a little serrated edge for cutting rope or whatever, but this type of knife, it's very common. I think the whole kit that you can get, it comes with a little bitty knife like this, a lock blade like this, and a regular fixed blade for skinning, okay? But this is a very useful tool, okay, when that's just how we use it, okay? Open boxes with it, you can open letters with it, whatever the case may be. But if this individual is approaching me in a threatening manner, okay, and I feel like that he's going to hurt me in some way, shape, or form, then I'm holding this knife in this fashion, right? I will unclip it and unsheath it, if it's a sheath knife, and open it up and hold it just like this, and stand sideways to where he can't see me, okay? Since practicing with real blades is probably not a good idea, we'll put this one down here with the other one, and I'm going to go back to this blade, okay? This looks intimidating, okay, but I promise you it's just rubber, all right? So if he's moving to me in a bad situation, he reaches to grab whatever, the first move is to cut that arm, right? You guys all know hadan maki or not hadan, sangdan maki, eye block, right? That's the motion, okay? And I'm gonna cut right there, okay? Right across it as I step in and deliver the shot to the neck, okay? If you have a small blade and it's a not a good quality knife, it doesn't matter, right? Edged weapons are edged weapons, and they all hurt if you get cut with them, even if it's just a small cut, right? But the first move, if he's reaching for my throat, the first move is to cut that, and you can come down on top of the head. However, the head is really, really hard, okay? So it's always going to be better to go to softer targets, the throat, right? Cutting across this way and stabbing back, okay? And do not play with an individual that is trying to kill you, okay? This is not, this kind of training is not sport karate, okay? Those of you that have been in the military, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You do bayonet training, all day long, and it's not for making points. It's for getting rid of this individual, okay? Kids, if you guys are listening to this is not for you, okay? You shouldn't even be in a situation like this. Although some cases across the news, you see it all the time, right? If you're being threatened, the best thing to do would be to find a teacher or some adult, okay, to get you out of that situation. If there is no other alternative, then you need to do what you need to do, okay? Having said that, this is really just for adults. The individual is coming at me, he's throwing punches, whatever, right? I'm hitting down like that, I'm coming back across the throat, okay? Now this is all, like I said, there are tons of videos that fight with a knife forward. This is more of your European fencing style fighting. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's just not what I do. I can fight that way, and you'll see them cut across this way, cut tendons, and they're very effective fighters. That's not my expertise. This is my style of fighting. Okay, I don't want them to know that I have a knife. You shouldn't either. Right? So when the minute that I do this, it gives him the opportunity to retreat and grab something bigger, better, better. Okay. From this position, I don't allow him the opportunity to see the knife, and by the time he realizes I have one, it's too late. Okay? So when you're looking for videos on fighting with a knife, or fighting with any kind of edged weapon, swords, or whatever, you guys look for more of a reality type training, okay? Something that ends the situation quick, fast, and in a hurry, okay? If you have any questions, shoot me an email. Thanks.